You mentioned like last two questions. You mentioned something about a Christmas pageant in the school and like singing the same songs. I did that same thing second grade. We had their own version. Third grade, I'm pretty sure I did that. Is there anything else that you remembered when it came to school and Christmas break around like December and Christmas time, like you being a student?
Well, we never had, uh, excuse me, we never had Christmas performances at school like you did, Andrew, where parents would come and listen to us sing Christmas songs in our classroom. We never did anything like that. Um, as far as Christmas break, we got 2 weeks, um, which is kind of a thing of the past. We got 2 solid weeks off. So like if a Christmas landed on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, uh, we would we would start our break on the Monday before Christmas, and then we'd go all the way through New Year's Day. Uh, uh, if New Year's would also land on a Wednesday. Then we wouldn't go back to school on Thursday or Friday. We'd go back the following Monday. So we got 2 solid weeks off, which uh, they've kind of gotten away from over the years now. Kids maybe at most will get a 9 day break or a 10 day break, counting weekends. So yeah, back in the '70s, we always got 2 weeks off for Christmas. We got a full week off for Easter. Uh, Thanksgiving was the usual 4 day weekend. So yeah, it was a little different in terms of school back in the '70s.
And then decorations. When we did our Thanksgiving episode, I asked if you made any at school decorations, and you mentioned the pilgrim hat that you made. Because when I was in school, we did like ornaments. Because I remember one like we took a piece of cardboard and we wrapped it with tin foil so it looked like a cookie sheet, and then we would hot glue Teddy Grahams on it so it looked like these giant cookies. And then another big thing was we'll take milk cartons, finish the milk, and then we would glue graham crackers on the milk cartons and make like a little gingerbread house, and then like surround it with like gumdrops and coconut shaving so it looked like snow. But do you remember any like in school projects of like Christmas, like making trees or hats or anything like that?
I can remember cutting strips of paper and then putting them together so it looked like a circle or a loop, and
Hmm.
doing several of those and gluing them. Back in the '70s, we glued everything. We didn't tape anything, so we all had our Elmer's glue, and you'd cut these strips of paper and then make rings and connect them all together and maybe have, I don't know, 10 feet, 12 feet. And, I'd take that home and wrap it around the tree. We made ornaments out of, just paper ornaments. I don't really remember. I remember making placemats for the family. Um, and I think I had to draw on them, and I don't remember if the teacher laminated them or not, but one of them was really cool, so I kept that one. And my brother made the comment like, "Well, of course you keep the best one for yourself." Well, yeah, I made it. So, um, yeah, I can remember making placemats that my mom kept those for quite a few years, that we would use for Christmas Eve and Christmas dinner. But I really don't remember much else. Uh, maybe I made a Santa beard out of paper for one class, and that you had to use string to hold it on your face. But that was kind of a cheesy thing that didn't work very well. So I don't remember making anything else for Christmas.
And I have to ask this: did you try the Elmer's glue?
No, I never did that. And we didn't have bottles of glue. Back then, we'd have a jar of paste. Um, and I don't remember if it was Elmer's or not, and I don't remember if the school supplied it. or we had to buy it. I think the school supplied it because back then the school supplied everything, um, uh, except for like pencils and notebooks. But um, the school supplied everything back in the 70s. You didn't have to buy, glue or tape or a stapler or calculators or anything. I mean, well, calculators weren't even a thing in the 70s. So the school used to supply everything back then.
So let me ask you this. Did you have that excitement for like Christmas Eve and then that whole Christmas night thing of like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I'm so excited to wake up and see what's under the tree. Did that get you like that standard? Like,
Well, kind of, but keep in mind, I think maybe I don't know for sure, but maybe that's why my parents let us open gifts on Christmas Eve. So so some of the luster would wear off, and we had gifts, we got to play with them, and then go to bed. Uh, so we still had another gift coming Christmas morning, um, but we since we had already got gifts the night before, um, it wasn't like this great anticipation for Christmas morning because we'd already got gifts already. And it's kind of a psychological thing. So when you think about that, Andrew, when you were a kid growing up, after you got all this cool stuff on Christmas Eve, um, and we'd say, okay, you got to go to bed. You still got Christmas morning coming up, and I mean, were did you feel did you feel like you couldn't wait to see that final gift on Christmas morning, or were you kind of already satisfied with what you got on Christmas Eve?
a little bit of both because like the older we got, I would say like, we called like Emmert's like Micah Dave's era and stuff like that. Like we would start get like video games and then we were just busy playing whatever wrestling video game or whatever we got all day. Or just like, oh, we need batteries for this. Like, so we were already, I was always so like busy playing everything that it was almost like the cherry on top of like, oh yeah, I actually got a bunch of cool stuff. But and then I asked for something, and then the older I got, I never knew what it was going to be because we stopped doing like I wasn't sitting in Santa's lap in the Maplewood Mall anymore, or at County Market or Bernard's dealership. So it was like there was that curiosity of what I was going to get, and like always still having like that special feeling of like I'm gonna go sleep and waking up. I don't know, waking up to a surprise still gets me to this day, and not just on Christmas because rather if it was just like a box of donuts on the counter, or we would do like in the Emirates house, we got like random like those Bendham action figures or color this picture or bingo. Like that whole waking up, like still to this day, I wake up and like kind of expect something to be on the counter or like look for something. I try to do that to people who I'm with because yeah, Christmas really got me. And I saw you do that for my mom like every day. Like there was something on the counter for her when she woke up. And so yeah, that excitement of seeing something different from what you saw when you went to sleep definitely got me as at Christmas. Rather if it was musical instruments, um, like action figures, we would have like a ring or like our Tritantron, like our play set to go with the action figures. That was always a cool one. So yeah, there was definitely that. I went to sleep. I wasn't up all night. Like I always was able to go to sleep. I never heard any footsteps on the roof. I never heard that stuff. But like it definitely was that excitement, but it wasn't one of those up all night trying to take a sneak peek. I knew what my mission was as a kid. I had to go to bed, be a good kid, and wake up and just wait for the surprise because I was never quite sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Like definitely. And that like kind of wraps up today's episode. I feel like you maybe had a list of stuff you want to do. Is there anything else you want to add about Christmas in the 70s or questions you want to ask me or anything for this
it
week's
was.
episode?
Well, as a kid, Christmas was just a magic time, and when we lived in St. Paul, it was just always something to look forward to. Um, and the latter part of the 70s, as a teenager, Christmas wasn't as big a deal anymore. My parents owned a bar in Wisconsin, and we would close on Christmas Eve and just exchange gifts. And sometimes my parents would stay. Well, they'd maybe go to bed early because they never really got to go to bed early, because bars stay open till 2 in the morning. Um, but then the bar would be open Christmas Day, uh, because, as sad as this is, um, my dad did really, really good business on Christmas Day because for several reasons, and I'll tell you three of them. Um, Number one, there was people that had no family, had no place to go. So when the bar opened at 8 o'clock, they had somewhere to go, and they could hang out at the bar all day, watch college football, watch. My dad would have on the Christmas Day parade from uh, Los Angeles, or wherever it was from. And another thing was, uh, people would come down for just the opposite because there was too much family. The house would be full of people, and some you know, the dad or the grandpa or whatever just decided it was just too much commotion, couldn't deal with it. So I'd come down to the bar, and hang out at the bar, instead of being with family. Um, Off sale was another reason. And when I say off sale, people, you know, had to come down and buy a bottle of wine or a 12 pack of beer or something, or whatever the case may be. They just run down to the bar and buy something they forgot to buy because my dad was open. So, um, being being a teenager and having Christmas, uh, you know, Christmas and Easter, two of the most sacred times of the year, be dependent upon a business being open or not, and a bar of all things, that was a little bit tougher to deal with. So, my happiest memories of the 70s of being a kid were prior to 1976 when my dad bought that bar, because for the next 4 years until I graduated high school, my Christmases were spent in a bar, whether I liked it or not. So, uh, but like I said, that was part of the business. That's what my dad chose to do. Whether I respected that or not, or agreed with it or not, didn't make any difference because that that's the way it was in the latter part of the 70s of my life. So my happiest memories were certainly before 1976, because Christmas became more of a celebratory thing for people that didn't have families or wanted to get away from their families. Once my dad had that bar.
And then I just had this random question, kind of end on a positive note. It's like a two-part question. When we did Thanksgiving, we talked about how big football is for Thanksgiving. Random question. Do you think there's a sport that correlates with like Christmas Day? Is it like basketball, right? There's always like an NBA game on Christmas night or something.
Well, there'd always be a college football game on. Uh,
Okay.
and it wouldn't necessarily be a bowl game, but it was maybe like the Army Navy game, or maybe it was Notre Dame playing somebody. I really don't remember, but there'd always be some college football classic on, and yeah, maybe the NBA would have some kind of basketball game on. Um, but it in the 70s, unless Christmas fell on a Sunday, there was no pro football. Um, so that's the only way that the NFL would have games on Christmas, is if it fell on a Sunday. Um, it certainly isn't like it is today, where, although this year there won't be any NFL games on Christmas because Christmas lands on a Wednesday. But back in the 70s, yeah, that just didn't happen.
And then we talked about the Christmas specials. 2 weeks ago, we did like, or a few weeks ago, we did TV. We just talked about TV in the 70s. Do you have a favorite holiday Christmas episode of like a TV show that like sticks out in your mind that you like watching every year if you can?
Well, that's a great question. And in the 70s, there would be Christmas specials for like Happy Days and Three's Company and Mork and Mindy and all the shows I watched in the 70s. There would always be Christmas specials. Um, Happy Days had a good one one year where um, Richie found out that Fonzie didn't have anyone to spend Christmas with, and so he made up some excuse for Fonzie to come over and fix something at their house, and uh, and then Fonzie kept saying that he had to go because he was going to Waukesha to spend time with the family. But the truth was he was too embarrassed to tell people that he didn't have anywhere to go for Christmas. So eventually, Mrs. Cunningham just said, "You're staying here, and I don't want to hear another word about it." And so Fonzie wound up spending Christmas with the Cunninghams because Richie found out that he didn't have anywhere to go. So that was one I remember specifically. I'm sure there were others, but I really don't remember. I mean, every every popular sitcom had some kind of Christmas special, whether it was the Brady Bunch or the Partridge Family, or what, whoever, whatever shows I watched, everybody always had some kind of a Christmas special.
Yeah, because in my time, it's like now it's watching all the Friends, The Office, and Family Guy Christmas specials. I seem to end up with every year, which I know
Yeah.
you like that Family Guy one, but with the ghost of Patrick Swayze.
Uh, yeah, I don't. Yeah, okay.
All right, last question. What's your favorite gift of all time?
Boy, getting my
You can do
first
that.
getting my first guitar. Um, my wife also gave me a red electric guitar uh, when we lived well, when you guys were kids. So I remember getting those two guitars. Um, I collect hockey jerseys. In one year, I got three hockey jerseys. Uh, you, Andrew, I think either got me a Boston Bruin or a St. Louis Blue jersey. Um, uh, Whichever one you didn't get me, your sisters got me, and then your brother Jordan got me a Colorado Avalanche jersey. So I like getting hockey jerseys. That's always fun. Uh, as you're probably referring to when I was a kid, though, getting that big Jim doll that I talked about earlier was probably one of my favorite gifts. Getting that, and one year, I remember I was a teenager and I wanted the new John Denver album, which was the "I Want to Live" album, and both my mom and my brother got it for me. So one of them had to take it back because I wound up getting two, and I knew about it before Christmas Eve even happened. So they, because I could hear the two of them going, "Well, I didn't know you were going to get it, and I got it. Well, I got it too," and so they wound up bringing it back. So uh, yeah, I guess that would be my favorite gifts that I can remember.
Which John Denver album was it?
It was called "I Want to Live."
Gotcha. He has a good Christmas album too. Him and the Muppets.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. He's got another Christmas album too. Or I have a couple of DVD specials that John Denver did on TV for Christmas specials. So um, and that was always fun too to watch a Christmas special from John Denver or Johnny Cash or the Carpenters, or a popular music act at the time would do a sort of a variety show Christmas special. So that was always fun to watch too.
And this has always been fun to record and listen to your memories. I don't know if you had any questions for me about my memories. Could definitely be a two-part episode. I might split that up. I thank you. I hope you have a good, happy holidays and good Christmas. Same with our listeners who listen every week on YouTube at 70s Pod. Check out our sponsors in the description below. I'm good from Orlando unless some random memory pops in my mind, a random question. If there's anything else you want to say about Christmas or about family, I know you kind of wrapped up our Thanksgiving Day one, and then that made me think of more things to talk about. But I'm so glad you picked this topic because I was really curious where this is going. I thank you for your time. Any final words about Christmas that you want to share with
Well,
us, Brian?
well, we when my wife and I started having kids, we wanted to make Christmas really special every year. And I think for the most part we did that. I mean, some years were maybe a little leaner than other years where we didn't get a lot of gifts and stuff, but we always tried to make it special with food. I remember one Christmas Eve I brought home baked cod from the restaurant I was working at, and and it basically was 10 pounds of cod that I broiled, and we opened gifts, and then we had the fish, and that fish was gone so fast. And I just thought, 10 pounds of fish would be plenty, and you guys just mowed right through it. And I think we had to bake some pizzas or something because you guys were so hungry. So we always tried to do something special and different, whether it be with food or presents. And one year I just kind of threw the book out the window, and and the credit cards, and just loaded up on expensive gifts for you guys. Wound up paying for that for a long time, but that's when there were drum sets and guitars and expensive dolls and video games and stuff, and that was a lot of fun. But sometimes materialism gets in the way of what Christmas is all about. And sometimes the simpler, or the more simple Christmas is those are the ones you seem to remember more, is when it's more simple and not so extravagant.
Definitely. And I do want to thank you for that because I brought up at the top of this episode that tree that we had to stick the little branches in that were color coded. And didn't matter where we were living, times were tough, whatever you want to say. You guys always made sure like Christmas is special. Our mom would hang up stuff. I mentioned that for Thanksgiving, she would hang up like little cardboard cutouts or like card stock on the wall. Um, I don't even know, like Christmas cookies. We didn't even touch on Christmas cookies. And like she would like make a bunch of stuff, decorate. You guys always had presents. We always did something. Even if you brought home a bunch of pizza, us sitting at the living room window just waiting to see the minivan pulled up so we can like open gifts. We all had like our order from like youngest to oldest of how we open gifts. When we started making money, man, that tree was loaded with stuff underneath because we wanted to shop for everybody. And then like that was so cool because I always heard Christmas is excited as a kid, but you lose that excitement until you have kids. And then you get that excitement back. And that's why it was always important. Like, I know what my mom likes. Hey, I want to give my dad like hockey, like wild tickets. Like, I just like having that build of, like, is that true? That statement that Christmas is excited as a kid, but it goes away until you have kids and then you get it
Uh,
back.
well, I think so. One of your siblings was talking to me a couple of weeks ago about how he gave a gift to to I guess it would be his unofficial stepson, and and he was expecting the kid to really be excited, but he really wasn't. And he asked me, "Is that kind of normal for a 12-year-old to not be as excited as when he was 9 or 8 or 9 or 10?" And I said, "Yeah, you guys, were maybe kind of more cool about getting stuff, and weren't as excited as when you're a little kid and you rip something open and it's something you really wanted, like an action figure or a video game or something. Um, so yeah, that statement is true, Andrew, where you kind of lose that excitement because you want to be cool. You don't want to act too too over the top excited because you just get to that middle school age where things are more cool than exciting. So, um, but yeah, you do get that back when you start making your own money and you get to give gifts to other people. And then you're excited because you're up until then you just used to get gifts, but when you can start giving gifts, um, that's so much more special. And I remember your older brother was the first one to get a job, and when he could start buying gifts for people, that just brought him a lot of joy, and he was really excited to buy gifts for people. So yeah, you're right. You kind of get that back once you can start buying gifts for other people, whether it's your own kids, your parents, or uh, someone you're involved with, a girlfriend, boyfriend. Um, that. So yeah. Once you can start giving yourself, that brings a whole nother level of joy.
And luckily, we started that when we were young because we would get gifts or we would have like birthday money or we would get money from like our grandparents. So, like, even though we only had like Pomida and like to work with, like we could go or like the outlet. When I was like 8 years old, I could go buy like maybe we did a Secret Santa. So I could buy a gift for you, for my mom, and then for like one of my siblings and just like have help wrapping it. Like I said, eating like the reef cookies, the peanut blossoms, the chocolate treasures, like just you're right, Christmas is really special. And like even if you're sharing it with somebody else in a different state, like I always still to this day appreciate being in contact with you and like both of you guys on Christmas. Um I know I'm gonna see you soon. And like I said, no matter where we were living, you always made that a big deal. Like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we're gonna do this or we're gonna have this spread of food, um, or we're gonna watch like Frosty Returns. Man, that's like the best one. That or like the Garfield special. Like the second Frosty, John Goodman, um, or whatever his name is. Um,
Yeah, that's right.
Jonathan Winters, I think, is in it too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so good. And then the Garfield Christmas special. Yeah, because like I'm gonna be celebrating Christmas with my girlfriend and her family this year, so I've been asking questions like your guys' traditions. What do you do? I just love hearing traditions. And that's why I feel like that 70s pod is so great because we can just no matter what's going on in the world, you know what? We're gonna press record and for 90 minutes we're gonna just talk about traditions and memories and they're always going to be good. There's always going to be something. Even in 2020, when we have to like wear a mask, wherever the case is, like still fun, like still good in here. Well, I'm going to wrap up today. So as mentioned, we have our sponsors every week. We have KingLineNutrition.com. That's KingLineNutrition.com. Go use the promo code Lockhart, LOCKHART, and you can use that promo code to get I mean, whatever you want to get, edible cookie dough, pancake mixes, regular cookie dough. Go there and use the discount every day. That's KingLineNutrition.com. And then we have GodlyFatherApparel.com where you can do 15% off on every product you buy. Even if they have a special, you can do it on top of that a discount. That's King GodlyFatherApparel.com. Promo code is Lockhart15. That's LOCKHART15. That's Lockhart 15, and you could get 15% off. So go to KingLineNutrition.com, go to GodlyFatherApparel.com. You can rush your order to get stuff for Christmas time. And you can always subscribe here and listen to us at That 70s Pod. That's YouTube at That 70s Pod with Bryan Lee. That's 70s Pod. And then don't forget to go to Instagram. He hasn't been in a while, but it's that uh, SCVW action figure. That's SCVW action figure. To find Bryan Lee, where he's posting stuff about his action figures and upcoming events that he's doing or been attending, I should say. Hasn't been in a little bit, but he'll be back soon. And I'm also, that's me, Andrew. I'm also on Instagram. On Instagram at Andrews Always Acting. Yes, I work for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Football is exciting this year with the playoffs coming. Florida, Tampa Bay is doing well. The Buccaneers, that is. So you see a lot of stuff of me performing, doing other like gigs, music videos, short stories. I gotta promote this on that Instagram more. But that's Andrew Always Acting. So if you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, comment, rate, subscribe, like our videos, like our Instagram. Go to kinglinenutrition.com. Go to godthefatherapparel.com. Brian texted me that he had battery difficult technical difficulties over there. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. I wonder if I can make this a 2-part episode. Um, comment, like, tell us your favorite Christmas memories. I hope you like this episode. There's so much love around Christmas time. He did mention people going to the bar and not having a place to go, and that is sad. So I hope you always have a place to go, family, and subscribe here so you don't feel like you have to be alone. And even if it's not the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, leave your memories at Christmas time. It was fun having this conversation. I know stuff has been tough for Brian back home. We won't go in great details to his wishes. We'll share the privacy of what's going on with our family. But the fact that he's still able to record, I'm recording in Orlando. We talked about being thankful and grateful when it came Thanksgiving time. And that was a fun episode. I went and listened to that again and again when I was working out. It was weird hearing like my voice, but it's just that's such fun to listen to. And all the episodes were in 20, a bunch of new random topics. Finally get that guest host, a Q&A episode. Things we're going to do, we just kind of had to put on the back burner for now, but we're still going to record for you guys. Reach the holidays, and we're reaching another holiday for this episode. That's Christmas. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whenever you listen to this. Not sure if I'm going to upload this as a full or split it up. I'm going to go back and listen to it. It's always fun going back to listen to it. And I hope you guys go back and listen to every episode. Dating back to our Rocky episode from 1976. That's episode 1, where Brian Day's brother is I'm actually in my car right now driving around looking at Christmas lights. I'm in a nice area on the Christmas lights and decorations outside. Orlando's really beautiful for that. And I hope you guys get a chance to walk around, drive around, look at Christmas lights, hang up, if it's the multicolored lights on the tree or the gold white ones. Just have a memory which you did and carry with family, loved ones, yourself, co-workers, whatever. Go buy a gift for someone. Give and we every time that we record an episode. This is Andrew signing out from Orlando, speaking for Brian as well, back in Wisconsin. I love you very much. You very much, Dad. You have a Merry Christmas to the rest of my family and to you guys, That 70 Pod listeners. This is Andrew, and that's peace and Happy New Year's.